back to All About the Disney Life. I am Danny B, the girl who is all about the Disney life. I forgot to mention when I talked about my Winnie the Pooh, the musical adaptation video, that was the last musical that was based on a Disney feature animation movie, so to speak. So now we are moving on to the live action Disney movies that inspired Disney theatrical productions to create these shows. So our first musical based on a live action film, it is Mary Poppins, which premiered in the UK in 2004. So here are the facts. Number one, the development. In 1993, theatrical producer Cameron Mackintosh met P.L. Travers and acquired the rights to develop a stage play adaptation of her Mary Poppins books. Well, at least somebody got her permission to do something with her books. She only agreed to a stage production as long as the creators were all English and no one who had worked on the Disney film adaptation was involved with the stage production. See, she gave the rights, but hold on, she had conditions. Nobody from the Walt Disney Company who were part of the movie not be part of this production whatsoever. In 2001, Mackintosh and Thomas Schumacher, head of Disney Theatrical Productions, opened talks on a possible collaboration so that the stage play would be able to use the songs from the Disney film. With both sides committed, a preliminary outline of the show was written in 2002. Around this time, songwriters George Stiles and Anthony Drew heard about the project and independently wrote a demo version of a new introductory song for the children of Mary titled Practically Perfect. They submitted the song to Mackintosh, and due to his positive response, were officially brought on to the creative team. Julian Fellows was brought on to write the show's script because of his clear understanding of the social necessities of the English class system that prevailed in the Edwardian era. An experienced production team was assembled, including Sir Richard Eyre, multi-award winning director of film, theater, and opera, and Bob Crawley, a theater designer who has worked with the Royal Shakespeare Company, the National Theatre, the Royal Ballet, and the Royal Opera. Crawley also has 6 Tony Awards for various Broadway productions. A workshop of the show was held at the end of 2003 at the rehearsal room at London's Old Vic Theatre using the cast of My Fair Lady, which had just closed in the West End. After 4 weeks of rehearsals at Sadler's Wells, the production moved to Bristol, where an out-of-town tryout opened at the Bristol Hippodrome on September 15, 2004. Number 2, the productions. We will start off with the original West End production, which opened in 2004 and closed in 2008. Cameron Mackintosh's stage adaptation of Mary Poppins had its world premiere at the Bristol Hippodrome, starting with previews from September 15, 2004, before officially opening on September 18th for a limited engagement until November 6th. The production then moved to the Prince Edward Theatre on December 15, 2004, making it the only Disney musical to have premiered in the UK. The show sparked mild controversy not long after its debut, when producers Cameron Mackintosh and Thomas Schumacher banned children below 3 years old from entering the theater, deeming the show too scary for young children. The ban remained throughout the show's entire run, during which the theater staff were to prevent patrons with children below 3 to enter. The show was officially tagged as being for children 7 years and up. On March 17, 2005, Julie Andrews, who played Mary Poppins in the film, visited the show as a guest. She appeared on stage during the curtain calls, where she gave a speech recalling her own memories from making the film and praising the cast for their new interpretation. The production closed on January 12, 2008, after a run of more than 3 years. Next, we have the original Broadway production, which opened in 2006 and closed in 2013. Following the success of the West End production, a Broadway production debuted on November 16, 2006 at the New Amsterdam Theatre after previews from October 14th. The Broadway production differed from the London production in that the Jolly Holiday sequence was staged in full Technicolor instead of the gray tones of the London show, and in Anything Can Happen, the stairs to the heavens were replaced by a giant version of Mary's umbrella entering from the stage floor. These changes were later transferred back to the West End production. Most recently, a new song has been added to the score titled Playing the Game. This replaces the already new Temper Temper in the first act. This change has been added to all current and future productions of the show. The Broadway production received generally positive reviews, ranging from enthusiastic to lukewarm. Many critics praised the show for its technical merits. After running 52 weeks, the show recouped its original investment. The production closed on March 3rd, 2013, after more than 6 years and 2,619 performances on Broadway to make way for Disney's Aladdin. Next up are the national tours. For the touring production of the show, designer Bob Crawley changed the sets, making the Banks household smaller in size and deleting numerous intermediate scenes so that smaller theaters could accommodate the large-scale demands of the production. A UK tour of the London production commenced on June 4th, 2008, and ended on April 18th, 2009, with stops at venues including the Theatre Royal, Plymouth, Edinburgh Playhouse, and the Wales Millennium Centre in Cardiff. The UK tour became the show's last production to include Temper Temper before it was replaced by Playing the Game in future productions. A United States tour began previews on March 11th, 2009, with the opening night on March 25th. The tour began at the Cadillac Palace Theater in Chicago and played in many U.S. cities. On November 15th, 2009, during the opening night in Los Angeles, Dick Van Dyke, who played Bert in the film, appeared on stage during the encore. On January 22nd, 2010, to raise funds for a local charity and as part of a D23 event, Dick Van Dyke did a cameo of his other role from the original film of Mr. Dawes Sr. In 2009, the song Temper Temper was cut and replaced by a new musical number titled Playing the Game. The U.S. national tour played its last performance on June 2nd, 2013 in Anchorage, Alaska. A new UK tour directed by Richard Gere began a run at the Curve Theatre, Leicester, from October 13th until October 25th, 2015. On March 7, 2024, a new UK tour was announced, opening at the Bristol Hippodrome on November 4th, before heading to Dublin, Edinburgh, Plymouth, and Manchester, with further venues to be announced. The opening of the new tour in Bristol marked 20 years since the show started out of town previews before transferring to the West End. The show is co-directed by Richard Gere and Matthew Bourne and co-choreographed by Matthew Bourne and Stephen Mear. It has a re-imaged set and costume designed by Bob Crawley, and again is co-produced by Cameron Mackintosh and Disney Theatrical Productions. Next up is the West End Revival, which opened in 2019 and closed in 2023. A West End Revival began previews on October 23rd, 2019 at the Prince Edward Theatre and officially opened on November 13th. The show was forced to close temporarily from March 16th, 2020 as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic. It reopened on August 7, 2021 at the Prince Edward Theatre with most of the same cast returning. The show played its final West End performance on January 8th, 2023. Next up are the international productions. Mary Poppins has been played in Australia, Austria, Canada, Czech Republic, Denmark, Estonia, Finland, Germany, Hungary, Iceland, Ireland, Italy, Japan, Mexico, the Netherlands, New Zealand, Norway, Sweden, Switzerland, United Arab Emirates, United Kingdom, and the United States, and has been transferred into 13 languages, which are Hungarian, Danish, Dutch, Czech, Estonian, Spanish, Icelandic, German, Norwegian, Italian, and Japanese. Over 11 million people have seen the show worldwide. The first foreign language production opened on October 18, 2008 at the Gothenburg Opera House, where it ran until March 14, 2009. This production was externally licensed by Disney Theatrical and performed entirely in Swedish, with the book translated by Magnus Lindman. The Finnish production opened at the Helsinki Theatre on August 11, 2009 and ran until May 8, 2010. On February 18, 2010, a Danish production opened in Copenhagen, Denmark at the Det Nye Theater. The Hungarian production opened in Budapest, Hungary in September of 2012. From April 11, 2010 to August 28, 2011, a Dutch language production ran at the Fortis Circus Theater in The Hague, produced by Stage Entertainment. A Czech production opened in Brno, Czech Republic in November of 2010. In November of 2011, the Estonian production opened at the Vanemuine Theater in Tartu, with performances also in Tallinn. In October of 2012, Stage Entertainment announced that Mary Poppins would open in Paris in the 2013-2014 season, but after months of unsuccessful searching for an actress to play the title role, Cameron Mackintosh decided to cancel the project. An Icelandic production opened at the Reykjavik City Theatre in Reykjavik, Iceland on February 22, 2013. The German language premiere of the musical ran at the Rockner Theatre in Vienna, Austria, from October 1st, 2014 to January 31st, 2016. On October 23rd, 2016, a second German language version opened in the Apollo Theater in Stuttgart, produced by Stage Entertainment. After closing on Stuttgart on January 28, 2018, The show was transferred to the Stage Theater an der Elbe in Hamburg on February 25th, 2018. An Italian production premiered on February 13th, 2018 at the Teatro Nazionale in Milan. The Australian production began previews at Her Majesty's Theatre in Melbourne on July 14, 2010, and officially opened on July 29th. An Australian cast recording was released on February 18, 2011. The Melbourne season closed on April 1st, 2011. The musical played in Sydney at the Capitol Theatre from April 2011 to mid-December 2011. The musical then went on an Australian tour, playing at the Lyric Theatre in Brisbane until March of 2012 and the Briswood Theatre in Perth until June of 2012. After a 4-month break, the production opened at the Civic Theatre in Auckland, New Zealand from October 18th until December 30th, 2012. In May of 2021, it was announced the show would return to Australia in May of 2022 at the Sydney Lyric Theatre with a nationwide search to find a new Mary Poppins. From November 14, 2012 to August 11, 2013, the first Spanish-language version of the show ran at the Centro Cultural in Mexico City, produced by Ocesa Teatro. In April of 2015, Brazilian entertainment company Time for Fun opened auditions for the Portuguese language premiere in Sao Paulo, but eventually the production was canceled. And the first Japanese language production opened on March 25, 2018 in Tokyo before moving to Osaka in May of 2018. Number 3, differences from the film and the books. The stage musical is not a direct adaptation of the Disney film, but features elements of the film and the original books, plus original updated elements. The dancing penguins in the Jolly Holiday sequence and the tea party on the ceiling at Uncle Albert's, likely due to the inability to make things float on stage, from the film have been removed, although some community theaters dress their chorus as penguins for Jolly Holiday. The character of Aeneas from the books comes to life in the musical, but was not seen in the film. Mrs. Corey and her daughters have a cameo in the film and are in the musical and books. There are many elements from the books that do not appear in the film or musical, such as Nellie Rubina and the Balloon Woman. The Balloon Woman happened in the sequel, Mary Poppins Returns. The musical places more emphasis on Jane and Michael being naughty and their parents being dysfunctional to heighten the drama. Jane and Michael are constantly answering back and fighting, necessitating a new sequence where Mary brings Jane's doll, Valentine, and the other toys to life to berate them in the song playing the game. This sequence, originally titled Temper Temper, was inspired from a chapter in the books titled Bad Wednesday. George Banks has been expanded from the film. In the musical, it is revealed that he had a difficult childhood in which he was ignored by his parents, Jane and Michael's paternal grandparents, and was placed under the care of a fearsome nanny. This nanny, Miss Andrew, a character from the books, makes an appearance in the musical as the polar opposite of Mary Poppins, advocating brimstone and treacle instead of a spoonful of sugar. Winifred Banks is no longer the suffragette of the film, but a former actress who is struggling to fulfill her husband's expectations of her. The character of Ellen the maid, played by Hermione Badley in the film, was cut entirely. A new character, Miss Smythe, was created to introduce the bank chairman. Admiral Boom does not blow his cannon, making the house shake like he does in the film. The bank chairman's father does not make an appearance like in the film, nor does Mr. Binnacle, Admiral Boom's assistant. New characters were developed to create a new conflict at the bank: the nice John Northbrook and scheming Herr von Hustler. Another character from the books that is in the musical is Robertson I, the houseboy who did not appear in the film. A number of musical sequences have been modified from their purpose in the film. These are A Spoonful of Sugar, originally sung when Mary first arrives at the bank's home, has been moved to a completely new sequence later in the show where the children destroy the bank's kitchen and Mary helps them to fix it. It is also referred to in Brimstone and Treacle Part 2 and featured briefly as a reprise at the finale. Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious, originally sung during the park outing, has been moved to Mrs. Corey's sweet shop outing. It is also sung when George goes to his workplace during the Anything Can Happen sequence and during the curtain call. The song itself is also distinctly different, as the word is spelled both vocally and physically, and boy is it ever. I've seen it. I've seen the video. I've seen it. Like, the way that they spell it, I at least know how to spell it now because of the song. Feed the Birds, originally sung by Mary before the bank's children visit their father's workplace, has been moved to after the visit and is now sung as a duet between Mary and the Bird Woman. The later musical reprise during this scene where George walks to the bank still occurs, but omits the film's memorable dramatic suggestion that the Bird Woman has died. Instead, a reformed George shares a joyous moment with her. And Let's Go Fly a Kite, originally sung as the finale by the Banks family at the end of the film, has been moved to near the beginning of Act 2, where it is sung by Bert and the Banks children. Number 4, the awards. We will start off with the original London production. So that production won a Laurence Olivier Award for Best Actress in a Musical and for Best Theater Choreographer. Next are the awards for the original Broadway production. It won a Tony Award for Best Scenic Design, and it won Drama Desk Awards for Outstanding Feature Actor in a Musical and for Outstanding Set Design. And finally, the awards for the West End Revival. It won Laurence Olivier Awards for Best Theater Choreographer and for Best Set Design. Number 5, the impact and legacy. The stage musical adaptation of Mary Poppins, a co-production by Disney Theatricals and Cameron Mackintosh, has left a significant impact on multiple theater and holds a lasting legacy as a technically dazzling, emotionally resonant, and financially successful show. Opening first in the West End in 2004 and on Broadway in 2006, it successfully translated the 1964 film into a new theatrical experience that honored the source material while incorporating darker, more human elements from the original P.L. Travers books. Number 6, the impact on theater and industry. A game changer for Disney. As the first live-action Disney film to be adapted for the stage, its success gave Disney Theatricals the confidence to produce other live-action adaptations, including High School Musical and Newsies. Technical achievement. The production is renowned for its spectacular magical effects, specifically the ability to make Mary Poppins fly over the audience and the sky-high rooftop scenes. The Broadway production introduced a major change where the Jolly Holiday sequence was in full color, unlike the West End's gray tones, and used a giant umbrella in Anything Can Happen, both of which were later adopted by the London production. Box office success. Despite mixed to positive critical reviews, the show was a major commercial hit, recouping its investment in 52 weeks and running for over 6 years on Broadway, becoming the 25th longest-running show in Broadway history. Awards and recognition. The production received numerous accolades, including 8 Olivier Award nominations and 7 Tony Award nominations, including Best Musical and Best Choreography. Number 7, thematic and cultural legacy. Bridge between film and books. The musical is noted for blending the iconic songs from the Sherman Brothers, such as A Spoonful of Sugar and Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious, with a storyline that leans slightly more toward the nuanced, sometimes harsher, characterization in P.L. Travers' books, offering a more complex family drama. Timeless themes. The show focuses on the rehabilitation of the dysfunctional Banks family, emphasizing the importance of family connection, finding joy in daily life, and the power of imagination, a message that remains relevant across generations. Enduring popularity. The show remains a staple of regional and touring theater, with 70-minute adaptations now available for licensing, ensuring its continued popularity in schools and community theaters. Key performers. The original West End production starred Laura Michelle Kelly, and the original Broadway production featured Ashley Brown and Gavin Lee, who established the definitive stage performances of the iconic duo. The show closed on Broadway in 2013 to make way for Aladdin, but its legacy as a practically perfect stage adaptation, which added new songs like Playing the Game, remains solidified in theatrical history. So, Mary Poppins, my favorite Disney movie of all time, definitely. And of course, I have seen it. My mom took me to see it when it came to Canada, and I was so excited. And it was like I had seen clips before we went to go see the show, and like the way that they did it, like it's still the same storyline like from the film. And it's still the same songs. They obviously had to add more songs to it. But the fact that they kept more, it's like a blend of both mediums, basically. They kept like the music and fun loving from the film, and then they added this scary P.L. Travers books, like blended them together and then produced this show, which is like a great tribute to both in a way. And I absolutely adored this show. And the way that Mary Poppins like flew, like literally, like I was like in the seat where her feet were literally above my head. It was insane how they got that woman to fly over the entire audience and that was insane. So supercalifragilisticexpialidocious in the film, it's different on the stage. Like, it's a different music tone and it's different lyrics, obviously, but it's still like the same, like a funny thing. And the way that the cast spells it with their bodies as they're spelling the word, I like, you at least know how to spell it after listening to the song. Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Like, you can't forget that. If I misspelled it just now, I'm sorry. It's been a while since I've heard that song. But it's like, it's the musical is, it's a classic, it's beloved, and I am so glad that I got the chance to see it because I love this movie. I love Mary Poppins so much. And the fact that both Julie Andrews and Dick Van Dyke got to experience the stage. Julie Andrews got to experience the West End production, and Dick Van Dyke got to experience the Broadway production, so to speak. And he was in a show for a charity event. Like, that must have been insane to see. So there you have it. Those are the facts to Mary Poppins on stage. If you like this video, please hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe. And I hope you have a zippity-doo-dah day. Goodbye.